Who were the people of the cave? How many were they? How long did they sleep? And what were their names? In this video you will learn some amazing and strange details about these great people. After Jesus was raised to the heavens, the condition of the Christians became extremely miserable and disordered. People began to worship idols and forced others to do the same. Their King Decius was so cruel that whoever refused idol worship was killed by him. The people of the cave were nobles of the city of Ephesus and respected courtiers of the king, but they were true believers and strongly disliked idol worship. Troubled by the tyranny of Decius, they fled from his court to save their faith and took refuge in a cave in the nearby mountain where they fell asleep. They remained in that state for more than 300 years. When Decius searched for them and found that they were hiding in a cave, he became very angry and ordered that a heavy wall be built to seal the cave so they would die there and the cave would become their grave. However, the man assigned this task was kind-hearted and faithful. He engraved the names, number, and full story of the people of the cave on a tablet, placed it in a copper box, and buried it in the foundation of the wall. A similar tablet was also stored in the royal treasury. After some days Decius died and kingdoms changed hands until a just and noble king named Bedros ascended the throne. He ruled gloriously for many years. In his time, sectarian differences arose and some people began denying resurrection and the day of judgment. The king was deeply grieved to see this and shut himself inside a house, praying earnestly to God with tears that he may show a sign so people would believe in resurrection after death. His prayer was accepted. A shepherd, while seeking shelter for his goats, chose the same cave and demolished part of the wall. As soon as the wall fell, terror struck those who saw it, and they fled. By God's command, the people of the cave awoke from their sleep, greeted one another, and offered prayer. When they felt hungry, they sent their companion Yamlicha to the market to buy food and secretly find out what Decius intended for them. When Yamlicha entered the city, he was astonished to see that everywhere the name of faith was openly proclaimed and people were declaring belief in Jesus. He was amazed, as in their time even mentioning faith was a crime. He went to a baker's shop to buy food and gave him an old coin from the time of Decius, a coin that had long been out of circulation and was unknown to anyone alive. The baker suspected he had found some hidden treasure and handed him over to the authorities. They questioned him about the treasure, but Yamlicha replied that there was no treasure, only their own money. The officials said that was impossible because the coin was more than 300 years old and had long been obsolete, while he was still young. They demanded the truth. Yamlicha asked them what had happened to King Decius. They replied that such a king had lived hundreds of years ago, a disbeliever and idol worshipper. Yamlicha said that only yesterday they had fled from him to save their faith, and that his companions were in a nearby cave. The officials and townspeople went with him to the cave. Meanwhile, the people of the cave, fearing Yamlicha's delay, thought he had been captured. When they heard the noise of people outside, they assumed Decius's soldiers had come for them and engaged in prayer and repentance. The officials found the copper box and read the tablet, which stated that the people of the cave were believers who had taken refuge from the cruelty of Decius, and that he had sealed them inside with a wall. It was written so that whenever the cave opened, people would know their story. The officials were astonished, and they informed King Bedros. He came with his nobles to the cave. The people of the cave embraced him and told their story. The king fell in prostration, thanking God for answering his prayer and showing such a great sign that proved resurrection. The people of the cave prayed for the king's reign and said, "We entrust you to God." Then they said farewell and returned to the cave, where they fell asleep again, and God took their souls in that state. King Bedros ordered a wooden casket to preserve their sacred bodies, and God placed such awe in people's hearts that no one dared approach the cave entrance. Bedros built a mosque at the cave's entrance and fixed one day every year when the people of the city would visit it as a festival.